Hey, what's going on, guys? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I am on my way to the gym. You guys know I'm in. I've been for a few months now on my little fitness kick. Um, I finally got the message my friends have been giving me about how your health is your wealth, and all that good stuff. So I allowed myself to be pushed to eat better and to work out and start running and things like that. So I think now it's kind of crunch time for me in terms of pushing a little harder, and and it's really important because when you're running and you got this extra weight, it makes it harder for you to kind of move faster. It's rougher on your joints. So fortunately, though, I am much lighter and stronger than I was. And I've been working out. I got a trainer, and that was a big step for me because the trainer, will kick you in the ass. And I specifically told my trainer to kick me in my ass. I said, I need you to kick me in my ass because I want to do a marathon and eventually triathlons. And and he said, okay, I'll kick you in the ass. So I said, all right, let's do it. Anyway, I wanted to talk about something this morning on my way into the gym. It has to do with integrate, ready for the All Black National Convention, which happens the weekend of September 27th in Philadelphia. I've been sort of processing the themes of the convention and the things that we need to work on as a people in terms of solving problems to move forward, in terms of lives we're going to change, individual lives, collective lives, communities we're going to rebuild, things we want to do. We can't do it all by ourselves. We can't do it all right now. It's not going to happen all at one convention. That's not possible. What I've noticed is that cultures and communities that end up prospering, that end up doing well, that end up dominating other communities, those tend to be communities that have plans. The reason that white folks have come into your black neighborhoods and gentrified those neighborhoods and removed all the black people and tore down the buildings and built new high-rise condominiums and put a Starbucks and a Whole Foods and a dog park on every corner is because they made a plan. They would have conventions like the All Black National Convention, and at every convention they would get together and say, okay, in 20 years, 10 years, this is what we want to do. This is a picture of the development we want to build. This is what we want to accomplish. So let's start right now. Let's form committees. Let's start, putting together our money. Let's start making investments. Let's start doing our research so that we can make our move. So for black people, the reason for the convention is to kind of do that same thing. There are other black conventions out there. I don't honestly, most of them have not done much for me in terms of getting me inspired to feel like something really was going to change. I feel like, for example, unfortunately, the Congressional Black Caucus and the NAACP conventions end up becoming surrogate conventions for the Democratic Party, kind of like a Democratic National Convention for black people, where the goal is to deliver black folks the way you deliver groceries, delivering black people to the polls so that black people can put, Democratic politicians into office. So we're not here to deliver black people to any polls or anything. We're here to deliver black people to the black community. We're here to deliver you to yourself. And one of the things that has really been on my mind lately is integration. Integration is something that has been long celebrated as progress for black people, as an achievement for black people. And then that's kind of what's taught at school, right? It's taught by your white teacher that the greatest thing that ever happened to you as a black person is that a white person accepted you into their community. Really think, I want you to process that for a minute. The greatest thing that has ever happened to you as a black person is that white people accepted you. They don't talk much about anything else. Pay attention, think about this. They teach you, okay, America started off, you were slaves, and then after slavery came to an end, Abraham Lincoln freed you. You also had a couple of notable black people that they mentioned, like Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, who were remarkable human beings, no question about it. And then there's no mention of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey does not exist in white school systems most of the time, even though Marcus Garvey is probably the most significant, or if not top three most significant African Americans or black people in history. One of the most significant people ever, in my opinion, because Garvey had the right idea. Garvey was really into black independence. But I just want you to really ask yourself, why would the public schools ignore such an enormous figure? You know, Marcus Garvey was almost like our George Washington. And why would you ignore him? Why would you just not even mention him in your classes? Well, it's because they don't really want you thinking about being truly independent, truly free. They don't want you to. They want you subordinated. They want you to be a colony of whiteness. They want you to be a colony of white supremacy. So when you want somebody to be a colony, you don't teach them how to be an independent nation. If you want somebody to be an employee, you don't teach them how to be a boss. You know, you teach them how to be a better worker. You show them all the rewards that will be waiting for them in heaven if they do what the hell you tell them to do. So, you know, integration is fascinating to me, because if you really look at kind of the way history is taught in America, the greatest thing that a black person ever did was to be accepted by a white person. So what they'll do is they'll then give you a list of all these firsts that black people did. You know, so-and-so was the first black person to win an Oscar. That's black history. So you're telling me that this award made up by white people, that they, by them creating the award, they have the ability to define black history by picking which black person gets it first. So-and-so was the first black man to ever be accepted into Harvard University. That's black history. So Harvard has the ability, like God almost, to make black history, to create black history and define which black people we're going to worship and honor as our so-called leaders, right? So-and-so was the first black person to ever, you know, be a host on the Today Show, Tamron Hall, right? They literally, I saw an article where they said Tamron Hall made black history because she's the first black woman to ever host the Today Show. And people, you know, it sounds on the surface very positive, but actually it is an incredibly damaging statement, because what you're doing is you're giving the Today Show the power of a god. Like, you're allowing the white people who create these opportunities to be the ones who get to decide if black people, which black person is going to get to make black history. They get to shape your history. Now I need you to ask yourself this question. In what universe do you, as a black person, ever feel that you have the power to shape white history? What white historical figure is there that white people honor, worship, and adore, that is being honored because they were the first white person to be accepted by black power, by black people? Think about that. Do they honor? Do white kids go to school? Do they grow up, you know, at school hearing teachers tell them? Okay, it looks like I lost my signal for a second. You hear white kids, you know, go to school, you know, where the teacher is telling them, well, you know, so and so is one of the greatest white men in history because he was the first white man to ever be accepted into Howard University. Or so and so was the first white man to be admitted into a black fraternity. Right? Do you ever hear white people celebrate that? White people don't celebrate stuff like that because they don't consider blackness to be a step up. They consider blackness to be a step down. They consider whiteness to be a step up, which is why they convince you that you should celebrate a black person being accepted by white people. You idolize those black people like the Little Rock Nine, first, you know, little black kids to go to a white school. You know, you idolize the first black man who, you know, got a PhD at Harvard, or the first black person to ever, you know, I don't know, get a bachelor's degree, right? Like you kind of, you know, you put these people on these pedestals, the first black to do this, first black to do that. And I think that we just kind of have to process that a little bit and ask ourselves if integration taught us to fight the wrong battles. You know, remember, you know, before integration, we owned the Negro Leagues. We owned the greatest sports league in the world. We owned the sports league that had the greatest athletes on the planet. We owned that league. We didn't play in that league. We owned that league. That shit was ours. Now, what sports league do you own today? That's really yours. That's really big. Do you own the NFL? Is that yours? No, you don't own the NFL. You are servants in the NFL, and you get, you know, you see the players getting bitch slapped every other week because they just want to have a silent protest. Do you own the NBA? Do you own Major League Baseball? No, you don't own those things. You participate. You went from being a boss to being an employee. And the reason you went from being a boss to being an employee is because you exchanged the chance to own a smaller company in favor of being an employee in a bigger company. That's pretty much what you did. So it's a lot like somebody who's got a business, and the business is maybe making them 150 grand a year, and somebody comes along and says, look, if you shut down that business and come work for me, I'll pay you 300K. If you shut that business down right now, and come and just become my employee, I'll pay you 300K. And it sounds like a great deal at first, because you're like, well, my business is only making me 150 and I got all these problems. I don't have enough capital. I got to pay all these people. I don't really want to do that. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sell out so I can go ahead and work for so and so and make 300K. But what you don't understand is that in that transaction, you probably gave away, $100 million in value, because you let go of your asset, because you were thinking only in terms of income and not in terms of ownership. You were thinking only in terms of the present and not thinking about the future. See, let me tell you a secret about how financial assets are valued, how net worth is valued. I'm a finance PhD, a finance professor. I taught college students for 25 years. Y'all know this. The thing about the value of a financial asset is that the number one factor that determines the value of that asset is all the cash flow and revenue that's going to be generated from that asset in the future in perpetuity. The reason that a company, when they tell you, Amazon's worth $1 trillion, it doesn't mean Amazon has $1 trillion in the bank. It doesn't mean that Amazon has $1 trillion worth of trucks and buildings. What it means is that when they look at what is called the present value of future cash flows, when they look at all the money Amazon is predicted to make in the next 100 years, they discount that. They use a formula and they modify that number, and they come up with a valuation for that company. So just because your homeboy got a company that's only bringing in 10 grand a year, that your homeboy might still be sitting on a company that's worth $10 million if you add up all the money that company is going to make in the future. But if you can't see the future and all you can see is the present, then you're going to miss 99% of the equation. In fact, literally 99%. There are a lot of companies on Wall Street right now where 99% of their market value is due to revenue that has not yet been realized, potential that has not yet been seen, right? Potential that has not yet been developed. And so, if you want to ask me, it really links to my whole ideology on a lot of things, because I see human beings as inherently valuable until we make them unvaluable. So people ask me, why do I have an issue with things like abortion? And I'm probably pro-choice. I don't tell anybody what they should do with their kids. But I think that a lot of times we abort our babies too quick. When we set up all the little clinics and stuff in the hood, and they want to convince black women to kill their kids. The reason that I think we're quick to be okay with that a lot of times is because we don't see the value in that child. We only see the problems caused by that child that are going to occur now because we gave birth to that baby. Like my mother gave birth to me when I was 17. When she was 17, not me, when she was 17, and she had a lot of problems because I was coming. She was a single mom, homeless, didn't have any money, but my long-term potential was huge. And it was only because my mother saw my long-term potential that she said, this baby's a lot of trouble now, but long-term, this baby could become something great. So again, this is not a political statement. This is just me, kind of give you an analogy, help you understand it. So with businesses, a lot of you have little dreams right now that look like they're a lot of trouble. They don't look like they're worth very much. But in financial theory, your business could be worth millions of dollars if you consider everything that your business is going to produce for you and your family and your community over the next 10 years, over the next 20 years, over the next 50 years, over the next 100 years. Most multi-billion dollar companies now started off as little mom and pop shops that nobody thought would ever amount to anything. So when black people were quick to integrate and quick to sell everything so we could move in with the white folks, we gave away probably $1 trillion worth of value, at least probably 2 or 3 trillion, because a lot of these companies that we owned, businesses we stopped supporting, businesses we stopped building, businesses we stopped nurturing, would today be worth tens of billions of dollars, if not hundreds of billions of dollars. And maybe one of them would have been worth $1 trillion. So if you ask me about integration, I've really rethought my whole theory on integration in terms of how I feel about it. I do not feel like integration was good for black people. I feel like There's nothing, when you look at what we were fighting for, there's nothing we were fighting for during integration that made any sense. It didn't make sense to go get your head busted in because you want to go sit in a white man's store and give a white man your money. That doesn't make any sense at all. There's nothing that makes sense about, marching and singing "We Shall Overcome" so your kids can go to a white school. Your children are not better off at white schools. That's a proven fact. There's nothing beneficial about damn near getting killed so that you can go work for a white man. So a white man will give you a job. We have businesses that we should have been supporting anyway, and businesses we could have been building anyway. That some of which were doing very well until integration happened. So what I'm here to just say to you right now, point blank, period, is the position that we will talk about at the convention is one that says that we have to rethink the last 60 years of black history, because the last 60 years of black history has led to virtually no progress in the areas that matter the most, right? We're not doing better economically. We're not doing better educationally. We're not doing better in a lot of ways. Our communities aren't doing better. So I think when it comes to integration, you got to stop believing this nonsense that's being taught to you by white folks that you're better off because you integrated. You're not better off. You're not. Doesn't mean you should have been forced into segregation. You should have freedom to do whatever you want. But what should have happened is you should have got the freedom to do what you want, but you should have made the decision to stick with what you already had going on. Because those people before integration actually had the right idea. The black business owners had the right idea. The black educators had the right idea. The black communities had the right idea. So that's my 2 cents, and I'm sticking to it. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. Don't forget allblacknationalconvention.com. That's where you can get information on the convention. Allblacknationalconvention.com. Somebody please type that in. Allblacknationalconvention.com. Also, if you want to get notifications sometimes via text as to what I'm doing and when I'm going live and all that, you could text the word "voice" to 31996. Somebody please type that in so somebody can see it. 31996 31996. Just text my name "voice" and send it to 31996 and you'll be on the text list. And that's important for you to do because I'm always getting blocked from Facebook and Instagram and stuff because I say things that are not that are not approved. I don't give approved speech, right? We don't have free speech. We have to have approved speech. So my positions on a lot of political issues are going to be different from other people because I've thought about these things and come to my own conclusions without being tainted by white media and things like that. So text the word "voice" to 31996. And then, last but not least, if you want some books for your kids, that you get, that black books that I think can be beneficial to you, just go to drboycebooks.com. That's drboycebooks.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day, and I'm about to go in here and get it in. Look at that. Look, I've been working out. See that? Look, muscle, baby. I'm telling you, I am so ripped right now. No, I'm not. I'm not ripped, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I look much better than I used to be. So anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Peace.